See you soon. No. Oh. Oh. I'm going to turn the teacher off, actually. Hello, it is 5 o'clock and it is Wednesday. Definitely Wednesday, which is super. Getting really good at the days of the week at the moment. Karina's not coming because she went out this afternoon and I think she had something done with her eye. So she's had a pretty busy day. She went to the blood coagulant clinic this morning with Judy because she had to have her blood tested on Wednesday to make sure that her blood thinners were functioning properly for her teeth to be done on Friday. Her levels were elevated again, so she's going to have to go at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So Judy will take her tomorrow morning. And then this afternoon, she must have realised that she had an appointment somewhere and called the next door neighbour, and the next door neighbour took her there and out for lunch. So she is recuperating in the White House. So that's where she is today. And everybody survived being cold overnight, and it was actually really quite pleasant today. I think it was about 44. So some of the ice, the thin ice, has sort of like started to disappear. I'm quite sure it will come back again, like tomorrow. But hey, that was good. You need to remind me if I don't speak loudly enough, because I tend to speak quite quietly unless Carlene's here. So I'm going to try and remember to speak loudly and clearly. We also have poor Claudette. She has flu at the moment, so she hasn't been here for, well, she's not here today, so I hope she has a speedy recovery. Ruby Sue and her blanket will be missing her greatly. This morning I came down nice and early to the barn because we had a job in Billerica. It begins with B, okay, and it involves a 495 drive. And I hate the 495 even more than I dislike the interstate. So Nick managed to get his work out early this morning and sent for review, which freed him up just about the time that I was going to be doing the job. So that was fantastically good luck. So he came with me and we took Carlene's car, we took Larky, and we took Ziggy. And we actually had a super time. It was a lovely group of people. It was quite an interesting job in that it was across 3 different areas. And the really lovely lady that we met there who was taking us to all 3 of them, she said, yes, the other one's just about a mile away. And Nick said, this is nearly 3 or 5 miles. So we were fortunate that we were following with her. Interesting thing was this was the first time I've been to a place like this, and it was apartments. So they have a general purpose room where people, there's tea and coffee, that sort of thing, and people can meet. Some people were sewing, other people were just having a chat. I think some people were making Christmas decorations. So it was a very nice community. So the first place that we went to, Larky he got straight into his stride. He was fantastic. Off leash, no problem at all. We do keep him on leash when we're leaving the car and entering the facility, which is exceptionally lucky because in this particular place, residents are allowed to have dogs. And we were in the general purpose room, and the dogs are not in there, so that was fortunate. So he was loose, and Benji stayed in and Ziggy stayed in his pram. So that was absolutely fantastic, and people were delighted to see them, and they did a really wonderful job. I have now discovered that my husband's skill in life is chatting to people that he does not know, so he did a phenomenal job as well, was much appreciated. So much so that the activities director had to sort of like help him out of the room because he was still chatting. We all loaded back up into the car and went to the next facility, and that was another really lovely general purpose room. It had quite a different range of ages. There was people with Down syndrome, lots of other different difficulties. It was absolutely fantastic. People were having their photograph taken in front of the Christmas tree with Ziggy, or in front of the Christmas tree with Larky. So and Larky just worked the room. He's a big social bunny. So and Ziggy, we've actually got a picture of Ziggy. We took him out of his pram, and he was because there was younger people there, and they were down on the floor with him as well. So he had a great time, and Nick managed to catch him, which was a great relief. And it was a really lovely visit. So that went well. Then we all loaded back up into the pram, and Larky back on his leash, and we went across the road and into another facility, and it was absolutely super in there as well. And we actually met somebody who was very good friends with Sarah, the Sarah with the white hair that used to be at Service Dog, and she recognized Larky, so that was lovely to speak with her. And we had a lovely visit there. Lots of people came in and out. It got to the stage that people who were working on site, the word got out, and they also came to visit us. So it was really super, a really enjoyable visit for us, and I think for the people with whom we visited. So that was a super day. We got back just after 2 o'clock, I think it was, and Larky went in for sleep, and Ziggy went to do likewise. So that was really a very nice day, and we were talking about the opportunities for going to visit. They have lovely outdoor spaces and courtyards and gazebos, and they were asking about if we would come and visit when the weather got better, and I said definitely, and I said, and in fact, feel free to add in as many people as you like, because when we're going, it took about 45-50 minutes to get there. And when we're going there, if we've got the red car and we've got the truck and trailer, we may as well take as many as possible and stay as long as we can. So they were quite excited about those prospects. So we were telling them about the mini horses, the donkeys, and all the other animals that we have. So that's something to look forward to when the weather gets better. And if they are able to, they will also come here. So that was a super day, and very enjoyable all round. Now tomorrow, somebody's going to tell me where we're going tomorrow. I think it may be Peabody. So tomorrow we're going to have to work out who's going to the Peabody job. I think it might have to be me, because Charlene has a doctor's appointment. Well, it's just a quick blood draw, so I don't know whether or not it's in the same sort of area, because Judy is definitely here tomorrow. Then on Friday, depending on whether or not tomorrow's blood draw comes back at an acceptable level for Charlene to have an anaesthetic, that depends whether or not she will come to the job, or whether or not someone else, Michelle, offered to take her to Leahy to have her teeth done. So I might just go out on the job by myself. So it's all our usual level of high preparedness, and we'll adapt as we go along. That's just the way we like to rock and roll here. At the moment, I have Miss Jenny out in the aisle. She is having her hot mash before she goes into the stall with Elvis. I have to feed her separately, and also Woody, because Elvis just plows through absolutely everybody's. find him suitably alone so I can bring him in without having a squad of donkeys coming to eat at the same time. The too many horses are still in their stall, and they go in every night and they get fed there morning and night time, because the little horse, we're going to have a little look at her teeth, because she balls up hay and it goes out. So they're on forage feed, which is just like chopped grasses that we rehydrate. And she's on that so that we can make sure that she's getting the nutrients in, because she's actually, under all that fluff, very ribby still. We're all sorted. Right, now let me go through these questions, and please feel free to keep asking, and I'll see what I can do about answering. I took that video of Nick pushing the pram for his mummy, you see. I thought it was so funny, because I walked towards him when he had the dog and the pram, and you couldn't see what was in the pram, because he used to push prams with children in them. And when we flicked around, there was Ziggy, although she then replied to me and said, "I can't see what's in the pram." So anyway, never mind. Now, Jenny is okay. I would suggest that she is not best pleased with the cold weather, and it has been exceptionally cold. She's not shivering, and I'm keeping a very close eye on her to the degree that I've brought a blanket over just should we need it. She's not shivering, but I don't think she's a tremendous fan of the cold weather. Hence, she's having hot feed at night time just to top her temperature off. She also has a little cozy space underneath the hay bag. All the hay falls down there and she lies in there, so that probably keeps her quite cozy as well. She is eating exceptionally well to the degree that she also goes and shares some of Woody's. So her appetite isn't problematic, and you'll be glad to know she is peeing and pooing. Always good. So her body is functioning. I think she's just not best impressed with the heat, with the cold, and would prefer it a bit warmer. He is very entertaining, is Nick. He goes out there and has a right old chit chat. I popped up a video. Nick has got one picture of the. Nick has got one picture of Ziggy underneath the tree. I wasn't because this is a new place that we visited today. I wasn't sure what the particulars were regarding taking pictures of the people who were there. So we just took pictures of. I took a video of Nick and of the animals. And also, I had Larky, and Larky decided that when Carleen was not there, he was going to follow me round about. So I just wandered around the room, and Larky came with me, and we visited with everybody. So it was kind of busy. We were very active. Janine, fortunately, has an open-ended ticket. So it means that she can, once she gets everything finished down in South Carolina, she can just take a wander back home. I do know that she's going to turn around quite sharpish and take the horses down, because her horses really need a nice, Aiken's got very sandy soil, and her horses, their feet really like the sandy soil, whereas as you'll see if you look at the paddock when the barn camera is turned around, it is very deep hoof prints that then freeze, so they're slippy and they're quite rough on feet. And Chester and Sunshine have just had their shoes off, so they will be extremely excited to go down to the warmer temperatures, hopefully, and the softer soil down in Aiken. And Willow is going home with Judy, but Judy herself had an appointment down in Boston this afternoon, so she and her husband went down there, and then they've either come to get Willow or they're on their way to get Willow. So I know that Willow will be going home with Judy. And it could very well be raining at the farm. You know, that's a really interesting question, Marilyn. I'm not sure who I was discussing this with a couple of days ago, but Jenny really, I think if you can, I remember Maybelline, and Maybelline was the same breed of cow, and she was much bigger. So I don't know whether or not they're just very slow growing. I really am not an expert in zebu cows, and but she's she's sturdy. She's not underweight. She's a very nice weight for her breed, but she's not enormous. But she could still have growing time. I really don't know. I know the horses they take a good number of years to get to full height, weight, and distribution. So it may be that the cows do as well. And she will always be smaller than Elvis, purely because she's female, and that's just the way it is. And Elvis is also an absolute guzzler. He eats all the time. I would suggest that he's slightly on the portly side, should we say? So yes, Willow and Larky, they go outside to run around and get some energy out. Oh, Carl and Olaf are still here. We just don't use Carl because we've got Willow, and so that's it's Carl is a lovely dog, but he's quite a nervous soul as well. And the reason we brought Willow in was to make sure that because Carl's the same age as Larky, obviously. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep this momentum going. Sizzle's going to start scaling back, purely because she actually gets tired on the jobs when she goes to lie down. But sometimes it's a bit, particularly when it's icy, it's a bit of a struggle for her getting into the car. And it's you've got to be respectful of all the time. She's spent a long time having puppies. She's spent a long time doing this outreach with Carlene. So she's maybe getting to retirement age, and she well deserves it. So what we're trying to do is we've got our Larky, obviously, who's fantastic. And it's very easy just taking him. I mean, I think if I go on Friday, I can probably take Ziggy in the pram and Larky on a leash. It's really quite straightforward, as long as you keep an eye on Larky. And Ziggy's not deciding that he's going to have a riot in the pram, because sometimes he looks like he's going to jump out. But I think that Willow was brought in, and Judy's working with Willow to make sure that we still have access to another dog. We do like the Harlequins, believe it or not, because they're very easy. They're easy to distinguish, because when you go in, you can see them straight away. The darker animals, and it's the same thing with the grey donkeys. It's just something else, with something that's easy to identify. It's that animal's there, that animal's there. Instead of just a whole collection and they're all the same sort of colour. So it's really nice having the Harlequins, because they kind of stand out when you've got a big group of animals on the go. And Willow's just lovely. I mean, she's very much still at the excitable puppy stage. Judy had been doing a wonderful job with her. Now she's back on her training regime. So she is lovely. The other dog that we do have that we're considering as well is Boom. And Boom's in with Justin at this precise moment in time. And we have access to take Boom out on outreach jobs. Now, the difficulty with Boom is he's extremely closely bonded with Mandy. And Mandy is just a slightly more nervous dog than Boom is. So what we have to do is just work with them and see what we feel the temperament would be for going out to outreach jobs. And at that point, we would then have two separate working teams, because really there's no way we would be putting Larky, Boom and Boom in the back of the car together. That's just asking for trouble. So we would have Mandy and Boom as one working team, and then Larky and Willow, and potentially Sizzle as another working team. The funny thing is, I didn't realise that Sizzle apparently really is not a fan of Mandy at all, or her mother. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And the two sets of dogs are actually just being kept separate in the same way that we keep my dogs separate and we keep Michelle's dogs separate. So everybody's got responsibility for all these different groups. So it's actually very exciting because we've got lots of opportunity. It's just how we choose to utilise these changes and opportunities that will be. It's a good thing to have. I am really hoping that I am very fond of these two new minis. I think they both appear to have a really nice temperament. So once we get them haltered up, we can see how they handle. And they could be another working team because Flower, much as I absolutely adore Flower, she is our spicy raisin, and I think she's slightly hormonal, shall we say. Some days she is absolutely stunning, and other days she's an absolute stinker. So it's just the way Flower is. So that would give us the opportunity to give Delight a little rest, particularly if she's feeding her mane and tail colour out. Give her a little rest. And if Flower's not feeling up to it, we've got another two to bring in. We also have Wilbur in the mini department, and Wilbur's just such an ornery little stinker when he gets going. He has his moments as well, but he has 30 feet, so it's all very interesting. We're so fortunate. We've got so many opportunities, really great opportunities, and it's just we'll just slot it into what suits best. So we're very lucky. Elvis is awesome, but I'll tell you, he could be a little bit of a pushy monkey as well. So much so that he's not actually going on the Christmas stroll on Saturday. I don't know if you remember him last year. He had bells on, he had pom poms on. He was absolutely fantastic. But really, we're not taking him this year because he seems to be developed a bit of a pushy nature. So particularly if there's anything edible round about. So for safety's sake and everybody's comfort, we're leaving him at home. Oh no, Carl's not on property. He lives with. Oh, excuse me a second. Hello. That was Janine. Carl's not on property. He lives he just lives next town over with Olaf. And of course we do have our Wanda ordinarily. But she is down in Aiken with Janine at the moment. And Janine was not going to take her, but she just couldn't resist the big Wanda eyes as she was jumping in the car because she drove down with one of the trailers. And she just couldn't resist the big Wanda eyes as, don't leave me. So she took her. So she'll come back with Janine. Yeah, so Boom is younger, so it's really nice. So Boom sort of like slots in between Larky and Willow. He's kind of like that generation, just sits in there. And I'm trying to think. I think he's round about 2, and Mandy is a year older as well. And we must remember that Boom is still quite young. He's full energy, and so we're working towards seeing him. And Larky's fantastic. He goes in there, and people, all they were saying to me is, this dog's amazing. He's so calm. He stands, he's petted, and there's no nonsense with him whatsoever. He's super. I walk him in on a leash, and he walks at my. Well, Carlene wasn't here, so he comes with me. He's on a leash. He walks at my side. I move around the room, and he comes with me, and we go visit with people because this was a very active visit today. People weren't just sitting down. It was there was people up taking pictures, so there was a lot of activity going on, and he's fantastic. The other dogs at the moment don't quite have that level of calm, or maybe they've not hit boredom. I'm not sure what it is because I am not a dog trainer, but that's what we're aiming for, this sort of interaction where they can go from high to low. Because you must remember that if you've seen Larky out and about with Willow, they go great guns. They're charging about all over the place. They're jumping around. So, he has that in his nature and his capacity and his level of fun when he's playing with Willow. But he knows when he's working. He goes in, he concentrates on the job, and he keeps an eye on all of his people. So he's fantastic, and that's what we're trying to replicate, hopefully. Flour is not fixed, purely because we geld stallions, but it's actually a very difficult operation should you spay a horse. It's not always successful. It doesn't always end up with the horse doing particularly well after. It's an operation that does come with a reasonable amount of risk. It is also extremely expensive because of the severity of the operation. So we, in fact, I don't think I have come across more than one horse that's been spayed, and that was because of a medical reason, not a reproductive reason. Some people do use hormone supplements to calm down their feisty mares, but that comes with, that's a difficult balancing problem as well. And on the whole, Flower is fantastic. She's actually very funny, because I think the problem she had with Peanut when she first came in is I always cuddle Flower, and when she's on Meredith, when you're in the paddock, she follows you around, and she's kind of like your wee shadow. And you always give her a good scratch, and then you turn around and she's following you around, and she does that quite often on here as well. And of course, Peanut, who wasn't very sure, she was kind of like following around as well. I don't think Flower likes anybody else having attention. And so I think Flower's nose was maybe a little bit out of joint, because they both settled down. I'm still keeping the little minis in a stall because he's very young, and I just want to make sure that there's no silly interaction or behaviour and he accidentally gets kicked, because those donkeys play rough, as does Flower when she's full flow. So there we go. Boom and Mandy are not ready to go out on jobs at the moment. This is a process that we have to work through, and we're really at the exploratory stage at the moment to see how they settle and how they interact with obviously the people who would be working with them, and also how comfortable they are out on jobs. So these are all things that we need. We also need them leash trained, and we need to be able to just keep that calm balance that we have with the likes of Larky and Sizzle. So that's just something else. Yes, Boom is here with Mandy. Now, Boom, I think, was he one of the first litters that wasn't born in the house? I'm not very good with this sort of like chronological order of who was where, which litter, and names. I know that Mandy was the Christmas litter, and Boom was from the Poppins litter. And I think he was one of the first ones. Somebody will know better than me to be born in the ICU. And the mother was Capri. That's correct. No, Boom is living on the property at the moment, and Boom and Mandy are living in the ICU just now. Boom and Mandy have been here full time for maybe about 2 weeks. And Sharon and her family, they come and visit, they bring their supplies, they change their bed. Justin is in charge of feeding, and they're general in and out. They have the paddock at the back of the ICU, and they have the run to the side of the ICU. We are all particularly busy at the moment, but what we're including Sharon's family. So what we're trying to do is get them calm and settled into the routine on here, and then we'll start working and seeing how we get on. Well, was he the last flitter from SAP? Oh, there we go. So anyway, lots of exciting things happening. So I hope everybody has a lovely evening. Nick has gone to do Meredith for me, which is very much appreciated. I'm about to fill up the hay bags and bring everybody into the arena, and then everybody is going to bed, and there will be no nonsense, and they will all sleep through the night, apart from those goats, because honestly, they're actually very good. They go to bed. I do check in on them. I check in all the barns, on the cameras before I go to bed, and even in the morning when I get up, because I do the goats and my dogs and my chickens up at the house before I come down, and honestly, they're sometimes still in bed, and I think I waken them up when I come in. So they're little monkeys. And we're in a very fluid situation with Sharon at the moment. We're helping her out just now, but like Willow will stay with, in the way that Willow will stay with Judy, but still come out on jobs. There's the opportunity, either Boom and Mandy can stay here and come out in jobs, or they can stay with Sharon and then meet us at jobs, because they actually stay wham bam right in the area of where we actually do quite a lot of jobs. So it actually could work out really quite nicely. We're finding that we are absolutely chasing our tail. There's a lot of demand for what we do. We're very happy to do it. We do need a bit more help on the ground, and getting out there to facilitate all the jobs that we're asked to go and do. So it is of great appeal to everybody at Goldie's, to have other people who can meet us at a place and bring dogs that slot into the program, or other animals that can slot into the program. So that lessens the pressure of animal care on here, and it also, it's advantageous, and we're very lucky that we have people who will work alongside us, and that's kind of the business model and plan. And we're so lucky that Carol turns up, and it's super. We get to a job and Carol's already there, and she knows what she's doing. She slots in with the team, and it's great. So it allows us to boost our team number when we're out and about. And there's nothing better than having more people than you expected, or being able to go to jobs and have extra people. That's a super thing, because it's another set of eyes, another set of hands. And also, a lot of the jobs that we do, it's not just the animals that go in and speak to people. It's also, I was laughing at Nick, because he stands and he's super. He talks to people. Janine stands and talks to people. Carleen talks to people. Judy's phenomenal also at talking to people. And Carol comes in and talks to people. And this is part of the program. It's there's nothing nicer than going in and speaking to the gentleman who has all the pictures of Wanda on his wall. You get to know people. So that continuity of visits, actually, it develops like an extended community, and it really is lovely. So these are things that have been quite heartwarming to see be put into place. And it's also exciting, like today, going to a new place. So there's lots going on, lots to be seen, lots to be done. And it's just great. So we are very fortunate. Now, I will check Carleen's car. I will double check that, Jane. Sometimes it's the reflection from the house, but I will double check it on my way by. So thank you very much. And I will see you all tomorrow.